Welcome to the Starting Over podcast. I am your host, Edward Shelton, aka Dark Logos, and this is a show where we look at the strategies, tactics, and mechanics behind the game of heroclix. Yes, video's back. Told you we are going to do more video. Hopefully, I can get some other things straightened out. This is down here, my Vivitar Ghetto GoPro, and I'm still tweaking it. It's not what I want it to be. So that's why I'm trying to not move the webcam around right now, just because of multiple issues, because it's not really giving me that much better of an angle than the GoPro or the Vivitar Ghetto GoPro. Anyway, today I got some quick housekeeping stuff, and then we're going to go into the big cornucopia of topics that I will preview for you. First off, housekeeping. I was wrong on T-Ray, so don't buy him. If you have him, trade him. He's not that good. Just really. He's really a waste of points. I thought he was awesome and did one thing, but he does something completely else. Also, watch list is up. Definitely go look at the watch list, because I will be covering that in the show, just a tad, and you will hear my thoughts on that. Okay, that's mainly it. Also, Armanzola cannot use his mind control on characters with like the same real name. So they all have to say on their dial like Tony Stark, Doctor Doom, stuff like that. That's the only way it works. So, all right. With that being said, what are today's topics? Well, first off, we're going to talk about, because it was asked, about Dark Phoenix, Cyclops, and is he awesome? Why? And how can we use him? Then we're going to go into talking about the watch list, mainly because I feel that it needs to be addressed, because in all honesty, it always needs to be addressed. And there's always things that, for a lack of a better word, when you look at the silliness that happens with the watch list and them not play testing things, you wonder why aren't there more stuff on the watch list. So that's my that's sort of like my main little gripe / concern / soapbox before I get into all that. Okay, so between those two topics of Dark Phoenix Cyclops and the watch list, we have a power-packed episode of drama. Yep, that's the best way of pointing that out. We have a power-packed episode of drama. Also, for long-time listeners, the grand nemesis / ally of me and nemesis of Heat, the fan, has returned. So for those who are not a fan of the fan, but you also can start to understand why I really am a proponent of the superfan Pog. Just saying, it's sort of a double entendre that I try to do there. But I've also been told if you point out that it's a joke, it's not funny anymore. Just saying. All right, let's get into it. Dark Phoenix at 300. First, Dark Phoenix Cyclops, that is. Nowhere to hide. Improved targeting. Ignores blocking terrain. When a ranged combat attack resolves, any blocking terrain along its line of fire to the targets is destroyed. So, yay. He gets to do what AVX Cyclops can do. Just optic blast walls. Just keep blasting. Next, he has Driven to Change the World. When Dark Phoenix Cyclops KOs another character with an attack, remove an action token from him after actions resolve. This would allow him to just keep going and going and going. The problem is this. he really, 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 and I do mean really, needs to have like a higher damage for that to be guaranteed, and everything that he does has to be like penetrating. Now, I'm going to say this very respectfully. I think this is a mediocre design for the trait, for how many points you're paying, but with at the same time, you don't feel bad if you don't have it. That's a better way of putting it. All right, then you have Waves of Destruction. Dark Phoenix Cyclops can use Energy Explosion and Pulse Wave. So, yes, that's good and all, and it's a big sort of super splash effect, but yeah. When he uses Pulse Wave and there is more than one character in the area of effect, his damage value becomes 7 minus his clicks number, minimum 2. So I really like that, just for the pure fact of you're guaranteed to get 2 damage off. You're guaranteed to get possibly 3 damage off to those people that are adjacent. You have a 5 or a square of Pulse Wave goodness. So that's nice. Then you have Last Vestige of Power. When this click is revealed, stop turning the dial. Dark Phoenix Cyclops can't use the multi-attack ability, and if he has already taken damage this turn, can't be dealt damage again. So he has a stop click plus some regen, and that's like, okay, whatever. At 9 clicks at 300 points, I have to say, you can do better. You really can. Only having that regen as your basis of healing is a problem. It showed up at a rock, actually 2 rocks, got into top 8 at one of them, and then didn't break out of the top 8 at the second one. So I have to say that overall, it can be sort of good. Can be. That's the best I can say there. I don't recommend him on a pure 300-point team, though. Just don't. The main reason I don't recommend him on a pure 300-point team is for the simple reason is you're going to get out-actioned so hard. No matter how much damage you do, you're not going to be able to KO a figure every turn with 5 damage. I mean, you can sort of say, oh, look, I killed Pogs, but how many Pogs can you really kill that are worthwhile? Okay, so let's move on up to Dark Phoenix Cyclops at 750 points. At 750 points, I know, and I'll go back to the 300 real quick. I know he has, let's see, he doesn't have multi-attack on 300, and if he had multi-attack on 300, I think he would actually be a threat, but because he does it, it causes some issues. You do have multi-attack at 750 points. That changes some things. Starting off with Precision Strike and Hypersonic Speed, that's nice to just say, zip up, cap you, minimum 1 penetrating, and then, okay, I killed a Pog, no token's going to be given, I'm great. All right, so that's how I like that. Having the prob, again, up top is nice. Once he starts getting into that running shot, it's like, I don't know. I really don't know. Now, the good news is at 750, you can start packing in help. Because I assume you're playing a 1,000-point game with him, and that's the only reason you're bringing out Dark Phoenix Cyclops at 750 points. So that's a tough one to deal with. So even with your Waves of Destruction and whatnot, you're going from 300 points to 750, getting the same number of clicks just about. Well, a little less, not by much, but according to WizKids standards, same amount of clicks for 450 points more. And then you have to start asking yourself, for 450 points, can I make the 300 point more broken? Pure and simple. And my answer to you is, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Because between Talon, Armanzola, well, not Armanzola, I take that back. Between Talon and more Talon and Compel and just, finding ways to take tokens off with some form of Cyclops or another, I mean, you can make him way more broken. You have, well, Armanzola, because you can get the perplexes out to make him obscene, to make people like cry your name and lament. Yeah, of epic biblical proportions of judgment. So yeah. So anyway, 750, not a fan. Really, just not a fan. Now, at 1,000 points, this is just you saying, screw it all. I'm here to have fun. Because the only thing that really changes is your stat values. You have multi-attack. You have everything you need to just, pop people. The issue comes in is that you do not have penetrating damage from the start. No prob either. But you have a 20D. And to me, at that stage, you might as well just plop them down and say, you know what, I'm just playing. I'm playing this today. That's all I'm doing. I'm just playing this today. I know that you're going to beat me. That's completely fine. I know he doesn't have immunity to Jack, but I'm just going to play this today. So overall, I like the fact that there is a lot of goodness in the set. I mean, not in the set, with the dial, but really, when it comes to that and all Colossals, it's just, yeah, you gotta go with the lower point value. I mean, yeah. So, all right, let's go into the watch list. And I know for the listener that requested that, you might be like, oh gosh, you really didn't, spend too much time on it. It's like, well, yeah, I'm not that big of a fan of that type of Colossal. I think he's just way too much points wise, and he doesn't generate anything for you, the player. So I think that's an issue. All right, let's go to the watch list, and it's like, now please open your web browser to heroclix.com. On heroclix.com, you should be able to see the post made about the watch list. In it, the watch list goes as follows. Dun 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 dun. I'm just going to talk about the changes, not how it was before. Tellus now says the following. Link telepathically. Friendly characters with the Legion of Superheroes keyword and within 4 squares can draw lines of fire in count range from the square of any one friendly character within 4 squares of Tellus. What has changed? We removed the counting squares part of the power and limited the power to the Legion of Superheroes keyworded characters. Now, if you note, the lizard has been limited. I say again, my brothers and sisters, the lizard has been limited. Now, the thing you must see now is that Tellus only really works with the Legion. Not only that, Tellus provides mediocre support at best for any other team, thus really reducing his value in the meta. Can I get a hand clap? Now, if we look closely into the meat of the change, we can still see we can do very powerful effects. I would say conducive to the destruction of our opponent if we play a Legion of Superheroes keyworded team. Now, we can still use Welcome to the Legion to bring in all sorts of manner of broken figures to break Tellus once again. But The problem is that we still have to play those Welcome to the Legion characters, thus limiting our true min-maxing capability. Now, I really feel that while this change has happened, it is for the best of the meta, mainly because aura effects do not work with Tellus anymore. Now, this is key. The fact that you no longer count squares for effects, but count squares for range, means that there's no future worries about science police officers or Professor X-like characters appearing on a legion of superhero teams to give you a bad day. Or if you think of any character picking up the flight ring, the Legion flight ring, just to be welcomed to the Legion. Something to think about. So Tellus is now in the realm of balance. He helps theme players out greatly. The Legion of Superheroes is an incredibly strong team thanks to him, and there is a lot that can be done. But no longer will you see Tellus paired up with a astral Doctor Strange, so that a storm can blast somebody from 12 squares away using an astral Doctor Strange in Tellus. All right, so I just wanted to do that. That went way too long. I was to transition it to a joke. The joke went way too long. Believe it or not, like when I'm a pastor's kid, and when my dad would take us to some of these churches, we would hear some of these AME pastors just have that voice, and they don't even talk like that when you talk to them, on the side. They do that when they preach, and it's just sort of hilarious. I never was a fan of that, but anyway, going on to Highfather, the new pact pretty much is at the beginning of the game. You may announce a pact. If you do, the highest point character on your force and the highest point character on your opponent's force, 300 points or less, can't target opposing characters with an attack until one of them has taken damage from an attack. They are the only two characters on the map, or your opponent only has one character on the map. This ability can't be ignored. So I think the biggest thing with this is when we're looking at everything that Highfather is now doing, is if you only have one figure, they can't do jack. They can't stop you from attacking. Now, I know for higher point teams, this doesn't affect you as much. In the 300 point meta, it mainly comes down to Highfather was the only thing threatening Shuma. I'm not going to lie. Highfather was the only thing threatening Shuma. If you take that away, you are left with, for a lack of a better word, a Shuma-dominated meta until retirement. And then we have to see what sort of Shuma Black Talon tech comes up. Because with the new change, now you're looking at Shuma teams being on a map or in a situation where, in all honesty, they may not want to be on. They won't have theme. You won't have magical theme prob to save your butt at the last minute. Or actually, you don't get that anyway anymore, so throw that out the window. And most importantly, you're looking at, if you lean to one side and you see Book of the Skull tech, and that has some good advantages, but it doesn't give you complete map dominance over the power plant, which gives you tons of flexibility. And it's more of, you can play more of, come to me, and you don't come to me, I will have 9 or 8 freaking rings of the Mandarin on me, and I will light you up. It's one of those things. And so you can play Shuma in these two different ways. You can be very aggressive with the books, or you can be very passive, if you so choose, with the power plant. Now, you can also be aggressive with the power plant, but that can go either way. The thing that I sort of see coming is with all of the comfort that Shuma provides, there is very little that really is going to deter people away from Shuma if, and I do say if, it seems that Black Talon is comparable or competent. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. If Black Talon is competent, and let's say he gets every 2 out of 3 mind controls in, it's still more than enough for a Shuma team to just decimate somebody. Also, Black Talon himself is not bad as a follow-up attacker, because he can just be like, blah, 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 blades, charge blades. So that's pretty good as well. Now, the other thing to sort of note when you come and look at Black Talon really needs willpower. So when you're dealing with book teams, you're looking at definitely him getting angriers. If you're looking at power plant, somewhat hurting. If you're looking at using utility belt, on the other hand, that's another sort of, maybe this is the cool tech that we need to be looking at. So, definitely something to be thinking about. It's definitely something to be thinking about where the future of that is going. So, overall, major other meta waves that's going to be made because of this. That's a real bad hand gesture. This is a better wave sort of thing. Really is this. First off, Copycat is not as broken as she was before. And you might say, well, why is that? Why is Copycat not as broken as she was before? Well, with the Highfather lockdown and then the Copycat lockdown, and you just be able to say, like, yep, I just took your guy that's really threatening, and that's about it. You are now put into this position where you could just say, I pick off that one guy, I'm going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing your guy into a bad position, take a swing on Copycat with low damage, let's say 1 or 2 damage, take a swing on Copycat. If she makes her shape change, oh well. If she doesn't, she takes 2 damage, she's away from her regen, she's not on regen yet. Now you have Copycat back, I have Copycat back, you have your crapped up guy that I took, and now you're stuck. And I still have the pact. And then I can just go and kill Copycat and then leave you, I'm sorry, not kill Copycat. I can go and kill the guy that I took over with no problem. With Highfather being weakened, it creates a situation where people might actually say, I can't take a risk of me KOing Copycat due to the shape change failing and then being this weird, or let me rephrase this. I can't afford for me to do something that can possibly KO Copycat, and that being the only, and the person I have the pact, the figure I have the pact on being the only figure left on the team. Because now I might not be able to fight that. Because if you really look at a Highfather team at 300 points, it creates a very odd situation. And the situation is this. The Highfather team at 300 points, force-wise and damage-wise, is very weak. You have the potential of just KOing something. The stronger or higher points your opponent is, Highfather is he's not like a judo throw like Brother Voodoo is. Brother Voodoo is a judo throw. He's like, I use your force against you, blah. Okay. And if I land that, I use my force against you, blah, even better. And you take more damage then you would have given me. Blam. I do that. Okay. Highfather is more of like a submission hold. He's like, I got you. I got you. You're not going anywhere. I'm gonna choke you, son. I'm gonna choke you. That's pretty much what Highfather is like. And so when we look at the two different styles, you can KO Brother Voodoo if you give him too much force than he can handle. Pure and simple. Highfather, you're just sort of stuck trying to get out like a straitjacket. It doesn't work. So the future of the meta is going to be interesting. I think even more so now, they're not going to. No one's going to really play Highfather in competitive play. That's a prediction because I predicted M10 Iron Man was going to be dead because of, you can use Force Blast to knock him off and do damage to him from the power plant. But what do I know? I'm just your friendly neighborhood podcaster. That's really about it. So there's some interesting things there. I also think that Tellus actually was a reaction to Highfather. And so with Highfather being nerfed, losing Tellus is sort of... it's not that big of a deal. He was probably going to be on his way out anyway because once Highfather is gone, the need to have that many little dudes really goes down. Now, you can come back and say, hey, Edward, even if he was the same, he could have provided threats to other teams. And that's true, because your other team has to go through that much fodder. But I will say this, with the new Electro, I have some questions. I really do, because now that Tellus team that's all clumped together is just ripe fodder for a TK running shot energy explosion. Boom. That's it. Now you might also say, well, Tellus teams had problems on Apocalypse and whatnot. Like, no, Tellus players that did not practice on Apocalypse had problems. Remember, the winner of the Omaha Rock specifically said in his interview, I practiced on the Apocalypse map. And he won, thus sort of proving the point that, yeah, we're looking at a situation where if a Tellus player did practice and did know what they were doing, that they could handle that map. So losing that from the meta, now that we have Electro, it was sort of like, yeah, your time's coming. Also, Astros were retiring, so it was like, okay. Your main form of getting your effects out there is gone. Now, when we look at figures like Iron Pharaoh, Lydia Malor, M10 Iron Man, and the ilk of that, they sort of look at these rulings more like, this sort of hurts. And here's why. M10 Iron Man needed something to make it a little bit scary to play him. And the way that the Tellus teams were operating, there was going to be a guy without a resource. Just saying. Most of the tech was either not Phoenix Force, was like belt. It was belt tech. And then maybe hammers. But even then, with that many guys shooting you, you're bound to miss your adaptive armor roll. So that's something. Also, Copycat is looking at this situation now and saying to herself, not Copycat, Lydia Mallers is looking at the situation saying to herself, Copycat now has a pure incentive to be played on a spy team, a New Mutants team, a shield team, and a shield team. Because you now are guaranteed to go first, you're guaranteed to pick map, you're guaranteed to get all your action, order of action things done first. Still Lydia. And it's like, hey man, I had theme team for where it mattered. When I needed to pick map, now I got your Lydia. And oh yeah, you have that resource over there. So yeah, guess what? I'm going to jack that too. Yeah. And your Lydia has stealth, so guess what? My copycat, that copycat has stealth, but yeah, whatever. I don't care about that. I got spies everywhere. They see you. So I have like Blind Owl, Copycat, Brother Voodoo. That's a cool spy team, and I can put some muscle in there if I want to, or I can build a cool shield team using any cornucopia of figures. And now I've taken your Lydia Malor, and now Lydia Malor is an agent of shield. Lydia Malor is a spy. Okay, and guess what, homie? I begin the game ahead because you have a resource. I jack that resource from you. Oh yeah, that's assigned to this character. So even if I do get my copycat back, she's going to have your Anger's Hammer. Your Lydia can't use your beginning of the game effects. And oh yeah, that means that I have taken your huge advantage from Lydia and put it for me. So now Lydia is a complete liability because Copycat's there. Now I know a lot of players might say like, "Hey, Lydia is still a solid figure," and she is. She's like, oh, let me get the thumbs in the frame. There we go. But at the other end of it, we're dealing with this reality, and that reality is Lydia before had zero liability. Now she has liability. Can your team rally if that liability is gone? How much of your team is built around Lydia doing what she does? And if it's a lot, then there's some problems. Now the question is, can we shift Lydia into the second tier attacker phase? And I don't know. I think we've seen her be used too much as a primary attacker and damage dealer. And the fact that you can still take your team and dance around to an extent, Copycat, it just adds to it. The next thing that comes up is if you look at Shuma, Copycat can mess up a Shuma team because if I take Moment or I take Black Talon, ooh, the pains you will receive, because now that ability to get downfield quickly is threatened. That ability to get, all of your crazy damage off twice in a turn is gone. It's on the other side of the field. Doesn't do them much good. And yeah, you might be up in points for the trade because, oh, hey, look, I have Copycat. But in all honesty, you're somewhat at a disadvantage. Now, if you take Mo-Man, yeah, you can pick up Super Senses, I think, and Outwit are your two big powers in standard mind control, because you get standard powers. You don't get special powers. You get standard powers. So there is some bonuses there, but like all things, you're still sort of stuck with not as a good option as you had before. So Shuma's sort of crying just a little bit about, just due to some of these changes, because now his magical world can be threatened. And I really don't think people understand Spy Team. Like, they have a 13-point figure. 13-point figure with Blind Owl. Like, oh gosh. Anybody that's played Researchers know how crazy a 13-point or 15-point character can be for Theme Team. And then you just add in like, oh yeah, we're going to lower that so we can give you some more points. Oh yeah, she has Perplex too. It's way better than an enhancement. Way better than enhancement. You get to pick your stat that you like. She's like the Lady Gaga of con artist. If you look at her, like that's really it. So spy teams, just watch out for them. They're coming. They're coming to break your heart and hurt you. Maybe kick you a couple of times in the nether regions. But yeah, the other element that I think that's going to sort of break down is we are definitely we're going to see, because of Highfather getting nerfed, we're definitely going to see the emergence of the double over 100 point figure team, and maybe a trio or a quattro. It may still be like a 4-figure team, but it's going to be like 2 really tiny figures and 2 medium-sized figures. We're not going to see like this one ginormous guy and then like 3 wimps. We're not going to see that. I think what we're going to see is 2 moderately good guys that have synergy, and then a bunch of support figures that just help them out just enough. Like, I think Blind Owl probably is going to... That chick is broken. Broken for what she does. She makes me want to cry. Because you should never have a character that cheap that can give you perplex. And, I can do clicks of damage for no attack. So, yeah, all those Thanos kill boxes that you, like, hated... It's like, hey, guess what? You got impervious on 1 click. Blind Owl says, no, it's party time. Get out my house. Get out my house. You're not invited. 1 click of damage. So, definitely, the meta is going to be a changing. Now, I was somewhat hoping a little bit that Tellus wasn't going to be changed, just so you can just be like zombie, zombie Electro, or you can use a zombie Doc Ock, and then Tellus, and then the Astral, and just watch the stupidness occur. Another meta change that I think that also might be coming is we will see the return of, well, let me phrase that. We didn't really see the loss of it. We're going to see the dominance of not being able to do multiple actions. Because I was talking with Silent Scream today, and he was like, yo, Tellus allowed you to do a whole lot of actions and actually do them in less actions, because you're not doing the running shot, you're not doing the hypersonic speed, you're not doing any of this. You're being very stationary, and then you are moving into position to make a volley of attacks. Which means that White Witch and Agent 13 really may or may not pull their weight. Okay, now you gotta run that Batmite. You gotta run, you got running shot. You gotta get that hypersonic speed, Jazz back in there. You gotta do all these things because you are now in a situation that easy mobility or extended mobility or extended swing is now gone from the game for a non-Legion of Superhero team. So as we sort of put this tapestry together, we can start to see some silly problems show up. We can start to see meta shifts. I'm betting you most people won't even think about duos for sure. Most people won't think about split and merge. Most people won't think about maybe even bigger point figures other than, for a little while, Tiamat. Tiamat's going to be thought about just for the pure fact that he's new. But but any other big figure, no one's really going to be thinking about that, so that's a place to sneak in. I think the meta is going to start determining, okay, what is going to be the new equilibrium, and I think the new equilibrium will be four figure squads, two medium-sized figures, and 2 small point figures. And we're already seeing WizKids say, yeah, we don't mind doing small point figures. The state of resources is another thing. Copycat now creates a situation of if you're going to play the power battery, not the power plant, the power battery, you have to play Copycat, or at least two in some areas where you have that guy with 2 Lydia Malors. But you need one to guarantee to take out that Lydia Malor, so you're guaranteed to use your ring. Now, I know this sounds dumb. And I know I've just I've been like, just kicked to the face on the whole aspect of the power battery. But what was I saying? Lydia Malor and Growing Darkness is what makes it a problem. And if Copycat has no longer any incentive to hang out with Highfather, the big, sugar daddy from outer space, and she strikes out on her own, chances are high that you have an absolute protection, unless something weird comes out, for the moment, an absolute protection of your ring. So you can do whatever you want to do. So I know, he's again, if you're in that meta and that guy has 2 Lydia Malors, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for you. I had to get close to the camera just to, to display how sorry I am for you. But at the same time, that person spent a ton of money, so they dropped $80. So that's just how it goes. But you have Copycat to defend your ring, so now you can start looking seriously. Okay, but when you're looking at that situation, and you're now able to use your rings. Rings will give you this dynamic vision, and again, I don't know what all the other attachments are and all that. Okay, so that's fine. I admit that, but we're guaranteed to get off those effects. So if we go back and we look at the Green Lantern ring, Green Lantern power battery, we might be able to usher in some crazy hyper aggro. Just for the pure fact is hey, guess what? I can assign a construct, and now you have willpower, and you would have pushed, but not anymore. I give you energy shield deflection, and that will help save you, because now, a stack on your combat reflexes, you have energy shield deflection, and you will go out and just be hard as heck to hit. That might be the a good thing. So definitely, take some time, look through the set for yourself, make your own decisions about Deadpool, what you want, what you don't want. Check out the blog. I did put up my buy list. I did take T-Ray off, and if people don't believe that I actually I believe what I say, okay, here's T-Ray. This is my T-Ray. This is the one I got off of eBay. Okay, so yes, so definitely believe that I believe my own hype. I don't just tell you all to go do things that I have not done. Also, here's my Armanzola that I also got off of eBay. Yay! So, all right. That's going to be pretty much it for this week's show. And I know you all can see the growing darkness behind me. Yeah. And I'm using Windows Movie Maker to record this. So definitely hit me up on Twitter at StartOverPod. It came from outer space and brought in air conditioners. You can follow me on Twitter. My mom's looking at me like, yeah. I was like, you gonna bring in air conditioners. Anyway, you can follow me on Twitter at StartOverPod. You can find out my musings, my random thoughts, ask me cool questions. Definitely, this show was brought to you by, in part, a Twitter follower. So definitely check that out. You'll also know when new shows are up, like this one. You can email me at startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. That's startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. If you wish to opine, keep it piffy, keep it awesome, keep it interesting, baby. Yeah. Tell me what you think about the team events for Gen Con. Do you think this is, a good direction, bad direction? Definitely let me know. I know I'm sort of happy that there's no Golden Age, mainly because Yu-Gi-Oh is words I don't want to say on camera. So yeah, I won't. And last but not least, you can check out the blog, startingoverpodcast.blogspot.com. You will, at a random point in time on a solstice, when the dove floats down onto my porch and brings me a parchment, I might muse and give you a blog post. You can also go to my blog and donate. Everything goes towards the show. I need to actually, tomorrow, since I'm off, I'm going to go mail Pogs. Mailing Pogs. So, yes. So, for some of those that inquired about Pogs, I will be sending them out. And also, big shout outs to Alejandro. Argentina clicks, baby! Yes, Alejandro, man. Definitely check him out. Also, if you have any other questions or whatever, hit me up. Definitely want to know about it. Definitely, I want to know about your team builds and your thoughts on the meta. Mainly because I think I have learned the most working with people in their teams and helping them understand things. And I'm like, oh, wow, hey, this is a good idea. Let's build on that. Also, it's sort of interesting. And this is a good thing. I think this is a good thing. A lot of the folks that were emailing me every week, and I was working with them on teams and explaining why, I've gotten less emails from them. So that's good to know. So anyway, that's it. Thank you for listening, and remember, we all have to start over sometime.